Introduce yourself, sir.
Yeah, many thanks, Mr. Michael, and all the viewers out there. I'm Kato Lawrence Kanyike, and I happen to be the GRC for the School of Veterinary Medicine and Animal Resources. But as well, most importantly, today, I come here as the speaker for the Makerere National Intake Platform chapter here at Makerere University.
Thank you so much, Mr. Kato. And first questions first. We've seen so many people coming for the presidential nominations, picking the presidential nomination papers are over 200 now. Do you really think that this number is serious? Like everyone is going for this. What do you think about that?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Michael. That's a very good question. Now, as I've always reiterated, that goes back to the leadership we have under the stewardship of Mr. Museveni. The level to which the values of leadership and the way people see leadership has degraded so much to the extent that people do not even appreciate how what encompasses that position and which qualifications. I understand. I myself, I also do qualify for that position as a president of this country. But again, I cannot claim that I want to take on that position because there is a lot more than only having the credentials and aspiring to that position. You still need to have the experience. You still have to rise through the ranks. You begin from lower level to a higher level. So Mr. Museveni has done a disservice to this nation. And I think as the category of Uganda, if you will allow me, I will also use his words because
I'll allow you.
Because he's stated it very well on his post on Twitter, where he claims that politics isn't a game, and it's a matter of life and death, depending on the policies that presidents, ministers, MPs, leaders adopt. So I decry the comical manner in which candidacy for president of Uganda is being approached.
But now, Mr. Kato, maybe to cut you, the number is too big. Do you think these people are self-driven or there is someone behind them?
Yeah, very big number. So I think people have not yet come to the harmonization and appreciation of what it encompasses to be president of a nation, the international relationships that you have to establish, the experience that you have to carry, the values that you have to espouse. Do you really reflect the picture of the people? You reflect the values of the people and you stand for what the people believe in. Can you run a country? Can you manage a country? For example, you've seen some senior six fakist for God's sake. You cannot put that position to senior six candidate because it's unseriousness. And this goes back to the way our country has been managed, that our youth have been deprived of all opportunities. You might recognize, or you might have read a report from Agora, where they issued out a report showing how the different members of parliament spent the money for CSR. CSR is corporate social responsibility.
Yes.
That is a program that ran in 2023 from around February to October. And it clearly shows the picture of how the Speaker of Parliament, the Right Honorable Anita Moore, spent to a tune of 1.825 billion in his constituency in Makerere.
Yet Uganda is big.
That speaks to the moral decadence. It speaks to how deep corruption is rooted into the systems of our nation. And that only speaks to the mismanagement of this country, courtesy of President Museveni.
But now, what do you think should be done?
I think the money has been channeled to the wrong direction. We have a youth, according to the statistics of UBOS, 72% of the population is below the age of 35. That speaks to how young our population is. And so if we could channel that money into creating opportunities, investing in production where our youth can leverage those opportunities to better their lives, to develop our country, because you do not expect an 80-year-old to be engaged in hard work, in the donkey work that can develop this nation. So I think the money has been channeled to the wrong direction.
By the talking of 80-year-old, we've seen a video of General Ali trending all over the world. and still the man is vying for another term. What do you think about that? Is that being fair to Ugandans? What word can you really use to describe such a scenario?
Gerontocracy. So you see, when you have a nation that is led by an 84-year-old, Mr. Museveni, though he claims he's 80 years, but history only reveals that he's around 84 years old.
Okay.
But then, if you have such a president that has mismanaged a country for over 40 years, and now you want to impede these ones from contesting for those several positions, and that speaks to how political violence and all manner of condescending behavior has manned the NRM elections, right from the primaries. You looked at the elections, the primaries between the Honorable Rashande and the Honorable Sechi.
People died for
yeah,
sure.
Sure.
People died.
There is a youth who lost his life trying to save the Honorable Sechi. So the violence that has marred their elections only speaks to how it's a do or die to get to those positions, and that's the level to which Mr. Museveni has degraded our country.
But Kato, are the youths of Uganda ready to take up these leadership positions? That's the question really everyone is asking.
Obviously, the youth are. The youth are very ready to take up these positions.
Because to me, I'm not seeing any youth championing for this. Look at Bobby Wine. Bobby Wine, okay, first time when he came, we had a lot of energy in him, but this time round, that energy is not felt. What is happening?
Well, I don't know your yardstick of measuring the energy.
The truth is, let me be very honest with you, Mr. Kato. You remember the other time when Bobby Wine declared his presidential candidacy. You saw how the country received him, how the excitement was in Uganda here. This time round, I'm not seeing that energy. That's what I mean.
Well, as I said, I don't know your yardstick of measuring the charisma, the energy, and how the people receive the power of the national unity platform. But if you've been to the countryside,
okay,
he's traversed the nation, though he's been blocked by police. You see that the state deploys all manner of security organs, SFC, they deploy police, they deploy the army. Of late, they have started deploying judges.
Then another question that everyone is asking around. Actually, Uganda needs a change. That is true. But now, is Bobby Wine the change that Uganda wants?
Definitely so.
What new things will he bring that are different from the current regime?
The people in the last polls spoke.
Okay. And maybe if you can speak again, because many are watching you.
And that's the will of the people.
Okay.
According to the information that they sourced out, they anticipated that over 70% of the population believed in the presidency of His Excellency Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu. And so I think I even anticipate that will be even immense, more bigger than what we had in the past election come the 2026 polls. And so I think Bobby Wine has been tested. Given the fact that he was member of parliament, he did exceedingly well, exceedingly abundant, beyond his expectations, beyond what people expected of him. This is a young man who came from the ghetto. From the ghetto, he spoke about all these atrocities that were happening to the people that have been sidelined, people that have been marginalized, and then all the resources of the country, all the opportunities have been merged and then controlled by a small cabal of people, cutters of the leadership or the dictatorship of President Museveni. And Museveni and Mr. Bobby Wine has come up to open up the minds of Ugandans to show that, look, this is possible. We can change history. We can have a peaceful relinquishing of power from one person to another, regardless of whether they are military or they are civilians. For as long as they have the credentials, they carry the experience, and they espouse the values that we, the people, also espouse.
But Kato, to take you back, charity begins at home. In NUP, for the past few months, years, we've seen a lot of wrangles within the party, right? It's said that if you fail to settle the wrangles within your home, you can't settle those wrangles in a bigger platform, right? That's now presidency. So how, back to the question that I asked again, how ready is Bobi Wine to take over Uganda as a president? You see, like what new things will he bring in the country that are different from Museveni?
Now, Mr. Michael, I will tell you one thing for a fact.
Okay.
Every house has its own wrangles.
But how you settle them?
Yeah, the internal dispute resolution mechanisms.
Okay.
And we've come out to pronounce ourselves on certain matters. Like, for example, corruption. I know that's what you wanted to.
Yes, exactly. That's the point.
Yeah, the Honorable, who was the Deputy President of the National Unity Platform in Central Uganda, the Honorable Matthias Mpuga, you looked at the approach we used on such instances. You know for a fact that our party has zero tolerance to corruption. And so, all even other wrangles or other squabbles that are beginning to come up within parties are precedented. For example, we are approaching a time where you know that there is going to be issuing of tickets to the flag bearers. You'd expect such wrangles, obviously. But the party has come up with robust mechanisms to resolve such disputes. You remember an instance that happened between two honorable members of the party, the Honorable Latif Sebagala and the Honorable Nyas. Okay. And so the president of the party instituted a committee to resolve those problems. That speaks to the internal democracy there is in the National Unity Platform. One thing that does not happen in the NRM. In the NRM, it's a do or die. It's dictatorship that you have General Shande and Honorable Sejikubo, and you have killing of people, brutalizing of people, globally and vehemently so, and that kind of thing. And so the tribunal resolves that the General Shande has won the election in broad daylight. The atrocities that happened in broad daylight, and then the committee, that committee, the tribunal declares the Honorable Ashande as the flag bearer.
Now,
it's
okay,
quite absurd.
It's okay. Now, to the, those questions were two, but you've only answered one. To the second question, how different is Museveni? How different is Bobi Wine from Museveni? Like, assuming Bobi Wine is now the president of Uganda, what new things will he bring to the country that are different from NRM?
Honorable Chagulanyi has stated times without number that you can never trust anyone. You can only instate the institutions. You can only reinstate the institutions. The institutions should be independent. When you look at developed countries like the United States of America, it doesn't give a sense that those people are so much disciplined to the extent that there is zero corruption. No, they are independent institutions. When you say that you are establishing the State House Anti-Corruption Unit, it should be an independent unit that is going to handle that issue. When you are instating the IGG's office, the Inspector of Government, you understand? That should be an independent unit. You remember the last time when the IGG, Betty Kamara, tried to tackle those people who were getting to the coffers of the nation to pick out autonomous armaments just for self-aggrandizement. Then General Museveni told him, please leave them for as long as they invest here, because they will run out to outside countries and invest in Qatar, in the US, and that kind of thing.
Now, the issue of kidnappings. Who is kidnapping Ugandans? Are they, because the government is saying it's NUP guys are kidnapping themselves. It's not the government kidnapping them. What do you think? Who is kidnapping?
For example, which NUP guys are?
There is one. Okay.
Did you confirm that kidnapping?
I'm saying it's said, not me saying. I'm telling you what I hear, right? Because there's a narrative that there is one whose name was among the lists, among the people that were kidnapped, but later he was found to be in Kenya. So I don't know. Make it clear for everyone to understand who is kidnapping Uganda.
Obviously, that's a first. It is state propaganda. You know, Dr. Vesje told you that the state survives on propaganda. Everyone knows it is not a secret that the state is abducting our people. Whenever you come up with a dissenting voice, just be sure they will act on you with an iron hand. The last time you saw the CDF of the army abducting Eddie Sebufu, and then before you know, he's in his basement torturing him, and comes up on X, just chest thumping of how he has abducted him, clobbered him, shaved off his beard, depriving him of his dignity. So what else do you want? What more explanations do you want?
Thank you. And what do you think? What is bringing all this, torture, abductions to only NUP guys like the opposition guys? What do you really think is bringing all this hatred between?
It speaks to the panic that the decayed governance of Mr. Museveni has descended to. They are under panic because the people have spoken. Wherever we go out there to open up the minds of the people speak. And when the people speak, Mr. Museveni sees. And what he does is to repress the dissenting voices by abducting them, by killing them. Some are known, some are unknown. You understand?
But Kato, most of this, like the resolutions are made in Parliament. Do you think the Parliament is really vibrant enough to state like to point out the mistakes that are done and maybe come up with policies that favor Ugandans? Is the Parliament really working? Like, is it really functioning towards this?
The Parliament has made efforts towards that effect. But like I said, every institution is under capture by the dictatorship of Mr. Museveni. You remember the other time when they called on the Committee on Defense, called on the CDF to come and explain his posts on Twitter. He said, now you buffoons, these fools, I will make you crawl to my residence and I will imprison all of you. They've made all efforts, but because we are all under state capture by Museveni's dictatorship.
2026 is coming. How ready are you people, the NUP? Of course, you're from the NUP. How ready are you to take over the leadership of Uganda?
The National Unity Platform is very ready to take on Mr. Museveni once more. We have the protest vote where we are going to vote. We protect our vote until it is announced. But again, we are going to, the strategy is to awaken the people, to mobilize masses, to turn up in large numbers, overwhelming, to make a statement to even the international community that this is an old man that we are fed up with, and so we need change. And that change is now, that change is with the National Unity Platform.
Okay. And are you done with your primaries, or they're coming? When are they coming?
Obviously, they're still under processes. Remember that it is a vetting process. We have a vetting process where the committee takes on 40 marks, and then the grassroots performance, where the committee will go to the ground and consult with the people there to constitute 60%. When you add up that, it will constitute the 100%, and then the independent committee will come up with the result and declare the flag bearer.
How peaceful do you think, how peaceful will the primaries be as compared to NRM?
They will be very peaceful because the NRM is using such an archaic method, very backward method in the 21st century. You can imagine that speaks to how people were killed in all those areas. You remember that side of eastern Uganda where a woman lost his husband. She came to the polls and then she went back as a widow. Remember what happened to Remiyaga, where a young man lost his life trying to protect the Honorable Sechikubo. So that's how bad it is to use an archaic method in a 21st century. We presume that with this method of 40% committee performance and 60% grassroots performance, there will be peace and harmonization. And so those that will lose in that particular process will rally behind the flag bearer. And I think I'm very optimistic it will be a very peaceful process.
Kato, thank you so much. But before I leave, I want you to look into this camera. Talk to Ugandans watching. Anything that I've not asked you and you wish to tell them, kindly talk to them.
Thank you, Michael, and all of the viewers. I thank you out there, and I implore all of you, like our president has always reiterated times without number, that mobilize, sensitize, open up the minds of many. This country is made up of the majority as being the youth. Like I said, we are 75% below the age of 35. 72% below the age of 35. And so we constitute the majority. We can make a change, we can make a statement and expose the dictatorship and all the atrocities that Museveni has imparted onto us. And so I call upon all Ugandans to turn up in large numbers come the 2026 polls to vote and protect that vote until it is announced. Certainly we shall have the change we've been yearning for.
Thank you so much, Mr. Kato.
Thank you.